The Detroit Lions are riding high off last season's playoff surge, hope buzzing through Ford Field like a lightning storm. But with every snap this season, that fragile momentum teeters on a razor's edge. The NFC North race is razor tight. Packers still lurking, Vikings battling for relevance, Bears clinging to yesterday's glory. Yet, just as the Lions start to flex real contender vibes, the same old question haunts Detroit fans like a ghost from the Barry Sanders and Calvin Johnson days. Can this team stay healthy enough to finally break through? Because if the top pass rusher goes down now, what happens to those Super Bowl dreams? How deep is this squad really when star edge threats hit the physio room? And if the front office keeps shortchanging the edge rush depth chart, will the Lions once again have to watch rivals feast on their wounds? This is Lions News Fan Report, diving straight into what's got Detroit fans holding their breath. You bleed Honolulu blue. You know this isn't just another injury report. It's a litmus test for this team's grit, their strategy, and their playoff pedigree. Slam that subscribe button now if you're ready to fight every snap and tailgate through every setback. Because this franchise deserves more than just hope. It deserves a plan that players and fans can believe in. Here's the breaking injury update shaking Detroit today. Marcus Davenport, the Lions' edge rusher who's been a ticking injury time bomb, struggled through Week 2's demolition of the Bears, but didn't come out unscathed. He left the game twice with ankle and shoulder issues, eventually finishing but clearly hampered. Head coach Dan Campbell confirmed Monday that the team is still seeking second opinions on one or both injuries, with no clarity on whether Davenport will miss time yet. Ice was on his shoulder postgame, and that's the bigger worry given Davenport's injury past. This isn't just a nagging bruise. The tone from the Lions camp is cautious, bordering on concerned. Why is this such a blow? Because last offseason the Lions barely addressed edge depth, betting heavily on Davenport to hold up beside Aiden Hutchinson. That gamble reeks of deja vu to anyone who's followed Detroit's injury saga. Remember how the team leaned on similarly shaky players before fans had to endure 0-16 heartbreak? And sure, Davenport pushed back hard against the career injury talk. He's no stranger to pain. But Detroit's front office shoulders a heavy share of blame here. Brad Holmes rolled the dice on a thin edge group in a division loaded with pass rush threats. If Davenport lands on the sideline, Al-Quaid Muhammad's already unproven depth suddenly becomes a glaring liability. Lions fans, brace yourselves. This could force Detroit's hand into a mid-season move, though after the silence all offseason, can we really expect that? From a tactical viewpoint, Dan Campbell and Ben Johnson's defense thrives on pressure up front, especially from the edges. Davenport was supposed to be a game-changer opposite Hutchinson, disrupting quarterbacks week after week. Without him, opponents have an easier path, giving Aaron Rodgers and the Packers, the Vikings' evolving attack, and even the Bears a massive edge in key divisional matchups. Historically, the Lions' inability to match firepower on the edge has cost crucial games, bleeding confidence in the locker room and draining fan hope. Statistically, Davenport's been a roller coaster, flashes of dominance interrupted by lengthy stints on injured reserve. His sizable contract demands and injury history make Detroit's hesitation understandable but damning. The ripple effect through this NFC North is obvious. A weakened Lions pass rush doesn't just hurt Detroit. It charges rival offenses with renewed confidence. Listen, you know Ford Field roars louder when this team fights through adversity. But this edge rusher status could flip the volume down on Detroit's Super Bowl hopes. If the Lions can't protect their most critical defensive weapon, what's the point of the hype? It's not just about one player. It's about the whole identity this team is trying to build, resilient, ruthless, ready to crush every opponent. Now, here's the burning question for you, Detroit. How big of a dent will this injury make in the Lions' championship chase? Are we staring down the same old heartbreak? Or can the Detroit secondary and linebackers step up and fill the void? And with Brad Holmes' track record on roster moves, will new blood arrive to shore up a tender spot before it ruins the season? One Lions fan quipped after the game, "At least Marcus got a chance to hobble in style." Pretty soon, though, we'll have to open a GoFundMe for the pass rush. The stakes couldn't be higher. The NFC North isn't waiting, and neither should Detroit. This isn't just another injury update. It's a test of this Lions team's mettle. The ghost of Barry Sanders' lost prime, Calvin Johnson's abrupt retirement, and the horrific 0-16 season still linger in this city's soul. But last year's playoff stride showed a blueprint for hope. Can Detroit overcome yet another edge injury and still run with the pack? Drop your take. Is this a temporary setback or a signal Detroit's edge struggles are back with a vengeance? The battle for the NFC North is on, and the Lions' future could depend on what happens next with Marcus Davenport. Stay locked to Lions News Fan Report for the latest. We're in this fight together. Detroit Lions fans, brace yourselves. What if this isn't just a minor setback, but the seismic shift that pushes our beloved team to the brink? The roar at Ford Field, the pride in Honolulu blue, stands on the edge of a very different kind of fight. Rivals see a crack in the armor and opening to exploit, and that's exactly what's lurking around the corner if the Lions don't tighten up fast. We know the history: Barry Sanders' lost prime, Calvin Johnson's abrupt retirement, that gut-wrenching 0-16 season, and every Lions supporter feels it. Last year's playoff surge was a flash of hope that Detroit could rewrite its story. But this injury could rewrite the script in a heartbeat, fueling the division's vultures circling for weakness. It's not just an injury, it's a rallying point, or a quiet signal that what's been built isn't quite ready to survive the NFL's brutal grind. What if the front office's gamble on an already fragile edge rush unit comes back to haunt us? Could this be the moment we see GM Brad Holmes feel the heat to overcompensate, biting on mid-season trade rumors that could turn our draft picks into a desperation move? And how about the coaching staff? Dan Campbell's aggressive identity rides on pressure from the linebackers and edges. Without Davenport, can Ben Johnson's scheme sustain the same relentless front? The ripple effect is already present. Lead chatter suggests rival offenses around NFC North are licking their lips, sensing Detroit's vulnerability. The Packers, Vikings, and even Bears could smell a shot in the arm, exploiting what was supposed to be our season-defining strength, our pass rush. And that's the move that could flip the season upside down, but also perhaps ignite a shocking reshuffle on the roster. Owners behind the scenes are reportedly eyeing options. Inside whispers hint that Detroit might be forced to burn a trade deadline card just to patch the hole. Are we witnessing a pivotal moment or just another day in Lions' lore of fighting against the odds? Statistically, Davenport's last game was promising, but hampered his ankle and shoulder concerns now cast long shadows. His $11.75 million cap hit this year, combined with injury histories, make this a calculated risk that's now backfiring. These are the cracks NFL team management fears. History tells us they're often the start of a downward spiral. Then consider the division. Rodgers and the Packers need no invitation to feast if Detroit's pass rush falters, and the Vikings aren't exactly known for their patience with injuries. Could this injury be the actual catalyst for a nightmare scenario, a collapse that sees the Lions fall from the NFC's elite? Or will the secondary, linebackers, and unproven depth step up, channeling that old grit that made Detroit a name in the Motor City? The pressure now is on Holmes and Campbell. The next moves could define the franchise for years. Rumor mills suggest the front office is still preoccupied with the off-season silence, but missed opportunities can turn into mid-season nightmares fast. Fans, the ghosts of Detroit's past resilience are whispering. This is where legends are made or broken. The thought of Holmes reeling from this blow, scrambling to find answers, makes the heart race, because every snap counts. You've seen this before. Fleeting hope sometimes shattered under the weight of injury and division rivalries. And if the Lions once again lean on a secondary or linebacker cores to patch the gap, how long can they survive such attrition before the season's hopes lie in ruins? It's these moments where heroes are forged or forgotten, and Ford Field's roar could either drown out the doubts or drown in despair. So tell me, Lions faithful, is this exactly what the new chapter needed? Or are we standing on the edge of a collapse that will shape our future for generations? The countdown is ticking. With each day that goes by without clarity, the stakes get higher. Every plot twist, every roster move, every grit-laden game could be the one that cements our destiny or seals our fate at the crossroads of the NFC playoff race. And if the front office gambles now, risking it all on a thin margin of health and grit, we could be watching the start of a dynasty or the death of a hope we all bleed for. As a Lions fan, I'm pissed but never broken. We've seen enough heartbreak to know every injury, every tough break is part of our DNA. This Davenport thing, it's a punch to the gut, but we're built for resilience. Still, it's gut check time. Are we just riding hope, or do we finally have what it takes to stand tall through the storm? I want to believe, but history's whispering in my ear that this could be that defining moment, the one where Detroit either rises up or folds under pressure. It's do or die, and I don't plan on going quietly into the night with this franchise.